Hello everybody, welcome back to another cooking video. Today I'm going to show you how to make a chocolate root beer float poke cake. Now I know you're probably thinking, didn't you just make a root beer float cake on this channel? Yes, I did, but this one is different. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is preheat my oven to 325 degrees. So now I'm going to make the cake batter. And the first ingredient is a box of triple chocolate cake mix. So I'll pour that in. And then I'm gonna add a cup and a quarter of root beer. And 3 eggs. And 1/3 of a cup of vegetable oil. And now I'm going to mix this together until it's completely combined. So now I'm going to spray my 9x13 pan with cooking spray. And then pour my cake batter in. Now I'm going to bake this in a 325 degree oven for 30 minutes. So while the cake is baking, I'm going to make the root beer glaze. And for the root beer glaze, I'm going to put a cup of root beer into this saucepan. Whoa. And bring this to a boil until it has reduced by half. Okay, so the root beer has reduced by half, and I let it boil for probably about 5 minutes, I would say. And as you can see, it's kind of still boiling, even though I turned the heat off. But yeah, that's all you need to do to make the root beer glaze. Now I'm going to make the root beer pudding, and the first ingredient is 2 cups of milk. The good thing about this bowl is it has measuring marks on the side of it, so that's kind of handy. Now I'm going to add 1 package of vanilla pudding, and this was a 3.4 ounce package. So I'll pour that in. And then the last ingredient in the root beer pudding, and probably the most important, is the root beer. And this is 1 1/4 cup. So I'll pour that in also. And my whisk is dirty, so I have to mix this together with a fork. But you're just gonna wanna mix it together until it's fully combined and starts thickening. Now I'm going to take this toothpick and poke holes all over the cake. Now I'm going to take my root beer reduction. I know I was calling it root beer glaze earlier, but it's really not root beer glaze. But I'm going to pour it over the top of the cake and try to equally distribute it. And it will kind of soak into the holes and make the cake really moist and delicious. And I'm also going to take my root beer pudding and pour this over the top of the cake also. And I know you usually wait till a cake is cooled off to put something like pudding on it, but with this cake, you want the pudding to kind of soak down into the cake, so I'm going to pour it on right now. There we go. And now I'm just gonna wait until this kind of soaks into the cake, and I'll come back when I'm going to frost it. Okay, so now it's time to put the Cool Whip on top of the cake. And the pudding's all set. I stuck it in the fridge for several hours. So now I'm going to frost this cake with the Cool Whip. So the cake is all frosted it's completely finished. That's all we have to do. So now I'm going to do the taste test. So we are all done making the chocolate root beer float poke cake. And here it is. I got myself a piece and it kind of fell apart, but that's okay. Now I'm going to give it a taste. That is really good. You can taste the root beer, you can taste the chocolate, like you can taste all of it. Like I thought that the chocolate might overpower the flavor of the root beer, but it doesn't. You can still taste it. It is really good. And although there were a lot of steps in making it, none of them are very hard at all. And although you have to refrigerate it for a little while to get the pudding to set, it is worth the time. It tastes so good. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.